Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Adam here with RetroRepairs, and I've got another box of junk here that I picked up. So what I'm going to do is dive right into it, and we'll kind of see what works and what doesn't. This was sold to me as untested and not working, so I really don't know what to expect. So first things first is we've got three different, it looks like three GameCube controllers. Now these are generic off-brand GameCube controllers, and they've got a couple of the typical problems that you see with GameCubes. So floppy joysticks. In this case, I'm gonna come in a little bit. Hopefully we can pick this up on the camera. The top of the controller is actually, looks like it's been ripped off. Like it's just this hard plastic, or just worn out altogether. So in order to get this going, it's something we'd have to actually replace these joystick thumbsticks with. I'll have to see how much those replacement thumbsticks cost online. They might be, my guess is they're probably about $3 or $4 each, or $2 or $3 maybe, at which point I have to figure out whether it's even worth it to try and repair a generic GameCube controller. But moving on, we have an original Nintendo 64 gray controller. The thumbstick on this actually doesn't look too bad. It holds in the middle pretty well. It's got a little bit of wiggle, is pretty typical with these, but as far as they go, I've seen a lot worse on used controllers. So that one hopefully will be salvageable. We have a generic or a Super Pad brand Sega Genesis 6-button, and this is very just dirty. Like the buttons make a nice crunch when you push them. So this is just, at the very least, going to require a thorough cleaning. But, again, we're going to test all these and see what works and what doesn't. We have an OEM Super Nintendo controller, and so it looks a little broken, so cracks here on the sides. Otherwise, it's just dirty, so hopefully we can clean that up and get it working properly. Got a generic branded Super Nintendo controller. So again, the difference between the OEM and generic, you can see here. The color's a little bit off. The buttons just feel a little bit different, not as high quality. So that's that. And last thing is a regular OEM Nintendo controller. And again, I don't know if this works or not, but we're gonna put this to the test and find out. So also in here, I've received a whole bunch of games, so starting with the NES games, so I have three of them. I have Top Gun, Track and Field 2, and Tiger Heli. Now, I got no idea if these work, so best thing we're going to do is fire up my Nintendo and we'll give them a try. So I'm going to go grab a controller and we'll get this all set up right now. So before I go ahead and stick these games in my Nintendo system, what I want to do is give them a light cleaning first. And to do that, I recommend doing this before you use any used game that you pick up. But all you need is a Q-tip, some 99% isopropyl rubbing alcohol, and you just take it and scrub down these pins on the inside of the game. When they come out, you're probably going to see it's a lot of black on that Q-tip. That means that we're rubbing off oxidization from the game itself. This will just help A, make it work, and B, we don't want to be putting dust and crap into your own console that you know works properly. I've actually opened this up and cleaned out my Nintendo quite thoroughly, and it works perfectly every time, so I don't want to start introducing some junk into those pins. So throw the game in, and power. So right off the bat, we've got a gray screen, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's no good, just it might have to clean a little bit better. Now, for comparison, I'm going to just test my own copy of Ice Hockey. Oh, this doesn't work, actually. I'm going to test my own copy of Super Mario Bros. 3, just to see that we've got a working game. so that runs. So I'm going to try clean this a little bit more and see if we can get anything going with this. So again, another thorough cleaning. Try and get off any junk that we can from the inside of these pins. And blinking red light. Still a blinking red light. So this particular one, Tiger Heli, I'm actually going to open up later, and we'll try and give it a thorough cleaning rather than just a quick one like I'm doing here. So next one is going to be Top Gun. We're going to try to do the same thing with Top Gun here. So give these pins a good scrubbing. So use the wet side. Take a look at the Q-tip. We see that it's lifting up some darkness. So that means that it's just oxidization on these pins for the most part that we're lifting up. Just want to make sure that we're getting a solid read every time we put this game in. Again, for the back side, that one came out quite a bit dirtier, so I'm actually going to wet it again and try once more. So yeah, usually when you pick up lots of games that don't work, especially a bunch of cartridge games, they're very rarely actually broken. They usually just need to be cleaned. So I'm hopeful that that's all the case is today, is we need to clean these games and we'll be working perfectly. So, looks like we are in action with some Top Gun. I notice I have no sound. I'll try and fix that. I think that's just I didn't hook this up properly or something. But this is playable, so definitely it looks like we're working. So Top Gun, we're going to put that in the good pile. Now Track and Field 2. This is the third and final of the NES cartridges that they sent us. So again, we're going to, before we even put it in the system, give it a good scrub down and see what we've got. So that one wasn't too bad. The Q-tip didn't come out too dirty. So I'm just going to try it just like that. Well, so you see we have the blinking screen coming on. That could mean we just need to clean the pins a little bit better, or it could mean the lockout or the CIC chip is actually starting to go, which is not super uncommon in these. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a clean with this and see if we can get that going properly. Still blinking. Sometimes you gotta fiddle with these a bit. Still blinking, but the fact that we're actually getting the game to boot up is promising, so this one I think we can definitely solve by opening up and just cleaning it up more thoroughly. So that's it for the NES cartridges. One of them certainly seems to work no problems, and two of them are going to need further cleaning. So I'm going to get my NES stuff put away, and we'll move into the other systems that I've got. So I almost forgot, we did receive a NES controller, so I want to see if this works or not. Again, there's not a lot to these old controllers, so for it to actually fail is pretty rare. Usually, if some buttons aren't working or anything like that, they really just need to be cleaned. But we'll see what we've got here. So power on. I've got a copy of, Tecmo Bowl. So as you see, we've got some sound. I was able to fix that. And let's see what we've got. So far none of the buttons are responding. Not sure if they're really supposed to at this point or not. We'll try it with another controller. Yeah, so start button is supposed to do something. So So I'm getting no action from this at all, nothing. So it could be the cable is going, could be that the board is dead, who knows. So I'm going to put that into the broken pile, and we're going to need to address that. So we'll get that put away and move on to the next console. Alright, so next in my box of goodies, we have not one, but 2 copies of Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo. So, again, we're going to do the exact same thing. Going to get our Q-tip, try and clean this out a little bit just to give these games a running chance of starting. So, I'm curious to see how much junk we can get off these pins. So, give it a good scrub. So, pretty dirty as we pull that out right away. These cartridges themselves are pretty dusty, so it's not surprising that the pins are going to be somewhat dirty. Okay. So, fingers crossed, and we'll see what we get with this first copy of Killer Instinct. Oh, I need to change the switch. Just one moment, I don't have my Super Nintendo. Alright, so we'll try that again. Copy number 1 of Killer Instinct. So as we can see, it's the black cartridge. These came bundled with a Super Nintendo back in the day. I don't remember if it was how late into its life cycle it was, but let's see what we got. Power on. So it looks like just a black screen. So we'll try that a couple of times. And it looks like we are in action. I'm going to throw a controller in here and see, make sure that we get some response. So this will give us a good opportunity actually to test those 2 Super Nintendo controllers that I got. So for those of you who haven't played Killer Instinct before, this is kind of like Mortal Kombat. So let's try the generic controller. Unpause. Well, it looks like B is mapped out as pause in this. So as I'm pushing B, the game pauses itself. Yeah, so definitely this generic controller. I don't know if it just needs cleaning or something's really screwed up with that, maybe that chip that's on the board itself. So I'm suspecting probably that's not gonna work for me. And for how much those generic controllers cost, I made another video recently where I picked up, I think, 10 of them for about $20 on eBay. Just get a new one. This controller here, very stiff, but it does work. So start, I have to really push hard, and that tells me it just needs cleaning. So we're going to put that in the to be cleaned pile. That in the broken pile. And let's try that second copy of Killer Instinct now. So just a black screen right away. Nope. Still no go. We'll try give it a little bit more of a clean here. And it boots up, so looks like we have 2 fully functional copies of Killer Instinct. So that was a good find, I think, here. So that's the cartridges themselves. So as you can see, a little bit of wear on the labels, but I mean, to be expected. So those seem to work. Into the bin again. So what system is next? Well, Next we have is a couple of Atari 2600 games. So we have Star Master and Boxing. So I'm going to get the Atari set up and we're going to give these a try. Alright, so I've got my Atari 2600 going, and time to test these guys out and see what it is that works and what doesn't. So I'm going to start with Boxing. So this is the Boxing cart. As you can see, it's a little dirty. It's pretty typical with these games. But the labels, I mean, it's not in terrible condition, all things considered. There's spotting throughout, but it's not worn out like a lot of these get. So we'll give this a try, see what we've got. And it looks like we've got Boxing. Not the deepest game, but it seems to work. I mean, it's responsive, and I'm winning. Got to do this for 2 minutes. I think we're gonna cut this short, but I mean, Boxing works. Also, I didn't mention it, I've already cleaned the pins on these. I didn't really think you needed to watch me clean some more games, so I went ahead and did that off camera. So now we're going to try Star Master. Star Master looks to be kind of a 3D shooter type game, so let's see what happens here. So we get a black screen right off the bat. Well, we had some colors. Let's try this again. So when I get that, shoot, I just spilt my alcohol. So I'm gonna have to clean that up. Okay, so I went ahead and clean this a little bit and see what we got here. So nothing right there. There we go. So by pushing some pressure on it, I am getting a connection. Oh, as soon as I let go, I lose it. So I'm gonna just try give it a little bit more of a scrub down. I think it's the top that's gonna need scrubbing, but we'll do both sides and try it again. There we go. I like the 2001: A Space Odyssey kind of music on this. But looks like we've got some Star Master going. Not a lot really happening. I don't know if there's supposed to be enemies yet or what the deal is. There we go. Let's try this one. Well, either way, looks like it's working, so these two Atari games, I'm going to say, definitely seem to do the trick. So this is the Star Master cartridge, and again, it's kind of dirty on the label itself, but it's not terrible. A little bit of wear on the front, or the top end, which is pretty typical, but otherwise, the cartridge itself looks pretty good. So I'm going to put those away. We're going to get my Atari put away, and dive into the last few items in this box. So, next game that I'm going to pull out of here, we have a Game Boy Color game, and that is going to be Monsters, Inc. for the Game Boy Color. I've never played this game myself, so I've got really no idea what to expect. Just kind of looking at the game, obviously we see some tears in the label here. Underneath, it almost looks like right here, there's a little bit of a chip in this board, so I'm wondering if this board is damaged at all. But really only one good way to find out is to try it out. So I've got my Game Boy Color. This is the actually Japanese clear model that I repaired in a previous video, and let's give this a whirl. Turn the volume up. So we got the kind of garbled Nintendo logo. So I'm going to try just doing this a little bit, and hopefully it's just a matter of not connecting to the game. Still the same thing. So I'm going to try clean the contacts of this with some alcohol. It's a little tougher to get in these as it's pretty compact, but we'll see if that makes sense. All right, so we've given it a fair clean. Let's try it again. Well, it got through the Nintendo logo, but then I lost it. So this could be an issue with the chip itself inside. Well, it looks like I got left some fluff in here, so I'm gonna try to give this a bit more of a clean. Blow out any residue, and we'll try this one more time. Still nothing. So this, I think, is going to need some actual repair. I think it's going to go further than just pin cleaning. We might have to open this up and actually reflow one of the chips in here to try and get it going. So that'll be, of course, a job for another video. So put that in the to be repaired pile and on to the next one. Okay, so as we can see here, I got my Nintendo 64. So obviously that means that in this box is going to come a couple of Nintendo 64 games. So here we have Mission Impossible and Supercross 2000. Now, I've already given these games a bit of a wipe down, cleaning the pins, so that way you don't have to watch me clean more pins. So we're just going to plug these in, see what we get out of it. And so far, we get absolutely nothing. So I'm just grabbing a game that I know works properly, just to make sure all my connections are correct. Try my Super Mario 64. And it does not work. What's going on? Okay, so Super Mario 64. It works. Pulling that out, let's try some Mission Impossible. And we still just get that blue screen. So I'm going to try a little bit more of a cleanup on these cartridge pins. Let's try that again. There we go. So Mission Impossible, we are in. So I've never actually played Mission Impossible before. Hopefully it's not terrible. It looks like it's going to be kind of a first-person shooter, kind of GoldenEye style. Doubtful that it's nearly as good, though. Third-person shooter, well, that's something different. So, this would be a good opportunity as well. We're going to try that gray controller that I picked up as part of this lot. So, we have this gray Nintendo 64 controller. Let's pop it in and see what we got. So, we get response. A button works. So these controls are kind of delayed. Watch them when I push it compared to when he jumps. That's almost a half-second delay. But it looks like looks like this works. So I don't know what the problem with this controller was, that they were selling it as broken. It shoots. Everything seems fine. So this we'll give it a good cleaning just to make sure, but this controller, as far as I'm concerned, works great. So put that in the good pile. And next game is Supercross 2000. So pop that bad boy in. See what we've got. We need a controller, so let's try that with a controller.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Looks like it's good. That was just a little bit of a pin cleaning, and it's in perfectly good working condition. So, again, more working stuff. It's nice when stuff just works, right? Okay, that's almost it as far as things that I can show you today. I'm going to show you what else is in this bin box. Some of these things I really can't test because I don't have the console for. So, next we have a few Intellivision games. So Intellivision is a cousin of the, well, not a cousin, but came out when the ColecoVision came out. They were direct competitors, and I have a ColecoVision, I don't have an Intellivision, so I really can't do anything to test these. But, so we got Astro Smash, Burger Time, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and in case that wasn't enough, we got Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This one with the special yellow label, very limited edition. Also in here, memory card. So I didn't really test this. It's possible we need to replace a battery in this memory card as it's not holding a save. I don't really know. And Pokemon Sapphire for the Game Boy Advance. I don't have a Game Boy Advance, so I really have no way of testing this. So I'm going to try to keep my eyes open for a Game Boy Advance, see if I can pick something up cheap that I'll be able to repair and get this working. But until then, these are going to sit in a box and hope one day I might find myself an Intellivision or a Game Boy Advance. Of course, anyone out there, if you have an Intellivision or Game Boy Advance that's not working, if you want to send it my way, I'll gladly pay shipping for it, and maybe we can work out a deal and I will make it a video, try and repair it. Otherwise, that's all I've got for you today. So thanks a lot for watching my videos. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I'm going to make a couple more off of these based on some repair videos. So this one, for example, hopefully I can actually open that up, reflow the chip that's causing problems, and get this guy working. The other ones, I really think just require a thorough cleaning, but we'll see what we've got with that. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. That way you're the first to know when I release new videos and see what I've got. Some of you may have noticed the camera wasn't moving today, so I'm trying the often requested technique of mounting my camera to something. I still don't have an actual tripod, but this is kind of sort of a jimmy-rigged solution. I've just got it fixed up to the wall. So hopefully, let me know what you think, whether that's a better view or if you like something a little bit more close up, easy to see. So again, leave a comment below. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.